Have I told you about imagery?
No. What is imagery?
Imagery is a literary term referring to the images in a work of verbal art. But for English majors, it is much more than that. Imagery is the one-size-fits-all muumuu dress. It is an all-you-can-eat Chinese buffet. It is an Ansel Adams poster for your dorm room wall. It is the generic solution to any specific problem. Imagery.
Wow. Imagery sounds very powerful. But I still don't understand why. Don't most poems have imagery?
Yes. And that is the secret to its power. Only some certain poems use metaphors. Only certain poems use alliteration, or rhyme, or meter. In fact, because all poems are different, it is very hard to find one term that can apply to all of them.
I see. So I can say, this poem uses imagery, about any poem? So could I say, that a poem with stars in it uses astronomical imagery?
No. That is much too vulgar. You need to generalize.
Okay, maybe natural imagery.
That is better, but it is still too specific. How about calling it beautiful imagery? Or breathtaking imagery? That way, it can apply to anything in the universe.
But that doesn't seem very specific. Saying that a poem has imagery doesn't really tell us much at all.
Who wants to be specific? If you are specific, you could be wrong. The more general you are, the less able anyone is to disagree with you. That is why imagery is the nuclear option. It is the only way to be sure. It is the most general thing one can say about a poem. It is like saying that food has flavor, or that clothes have material. It is always true. General is always better than specific.
Is that true? I'm not sure.
Yes, general is always better than specific. In every answer. In every instance. The reason why is that being specific makes you sound wishy-washy. Between this and that. Sometimes this is true. But not always. It is so complex. It is all so complicated. There are other considerations. Qualifications. Etc. etc. Specificity is the weakling on the beach with sand in his face. It is the timid driver afraid to change lanes. It is the nerd who always stresses out over details. You are not a scientist. You are not an engineer. You are an English major. Charge ahead. Bulldoze the qualifications, considerations, and nuance into a vast and magnificent parking lot of generality. Do not be afraid. Do not be timid. Shout from the mountaintops, this poem has great imagery. Shout from the valleys, this other poem also has great imagery. No one can touch you now. Does the poem have imagery? Yes. Do you say the poem has imagery? Yes. Easy, eh?